Hello, 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 everybody. Glad you can join us and welcome here today for this amazing webinar. I hope everybody can hear me and see me well. I'd like to start off by getting some interaction in the chat. So please, while we have the audience coming in, please let me know where you're logging in from. I'm based here in Dublin, so let's get the chat lit up to find out where everybody's coming from. San Francisco, great. Ashley, great to see. Hope the weather's nice. We've got lots of people coming in. Excellent, cool. Here they are coming in. Jordan, okay, cool, nice. Okay, everybody, we've got a great discussion here today, okay? We've got two expert speakers, and today they're going to talk about iOS, UA, and retargeting in the privacy-first era, okay? As we know, with tightening budgets, plummeting consumer sentiments, and shifting focus, on growth and to profitability, we know that app marketers starting revisiting their user acquisition and engagement strategies. And we are hoping today's webinar is going to help you get some great insights, best practices, and help boost your campaigns and improve performance. And also drive improved outcomes through intelligent automation solutions. It's a great webinar to go through today, guys. I'm very, very excited. Okay, so we're going to give a few more people coming in. Boston, hello from Boston. It's great. Our chat is going absolutely fantastic. Super. So while the audience is joining, okay, I'd like to walk you through the brief agenda. Okay, we're going to start with a short introduction with our amazing speakers who are here today to give you some great insights and some education. We want to make this as engaging as possible, people, as well. So please put your questions into the chat and let us know exactly what you would like to know. Also as well, we're going to cover iOS user acquisition, key trends, challenges, innovative technology, and case studies, which I love the most. So I'm very, very excited about this. It's going to take us around 20 minutes. So, please, as I said, answer any of your questions. And we will, at the end of it, do a bit of a Q&A as well for any questions that you may have, okay? And also as well, what we're going to do after the 20 minutes, we're going to proceed to iOS retargeting part, okay? So you're going to get a modern look at solutions, strategies, and techniques, and this will take us around 20 minutes as well also, okay? So we've got a jam-packed, educational best practices, lots of insights here today. I'm very, very, very excited, okay? So keep the questions coming into the chat. We've still got more people coming in, okay? And I can see they're joining the virtual room. So you're probably wondering, who am I and why am I presenting today? Well, my name is David Martin. I'm the VP here at the wonderful SplitMetrics, okay? And bit of background to myself. I'm in the tech industry now about 11 years. I've got experience in building and scaling high growth tech companies from, small startups right through to IPO. And I'm very, very excited to be here with you today also as well. And look, listen, if you want to connect with me after, please, you'll see my details at the end. My LinkedIn profile is there also too. Now, who are we and what do we do? Okay, so, SplitMetrics is a global company, offering an ecosystem of enterprise grade services, solutions, and products. We serve the growth of mobile businesses. We've been around for quite a while now. And we are developing and growing as we go over the last couple of years. We are an Apple's search ads partner, and we have a dedicated team of 150 plus experts who live and breathe mobile growth ads. Okay, SplitMetrics ourselves are obsessed with making our customers successful, and that's why top world app and gaming publishers choose to grow with ourselves, SplitMetrics. Okay, and again, you can find some more information on us, and you're going to get some more information from our wonderful Hannah here today as well. So we've got two amazing industry experts, and we've got Hilti Modazar Ames, SVP of Growth at YouAppi, and we've got Hannah Kachelka, Head of Sales at SplitMetrics. Ladies, a big warm welcome. How are we doing today?
Amazing.
Good, excellent, good. That's what I like to hear. We're all smiling. It's Thursday. We're nearly here Friday. What a way to spend our Thursday afternoon talking about the topic we are today. So look, what I'm going to do is, ladies and gents, I'm going to pass it over to our speakers for them to introduce themselves and give you a little bit of background of who they are and where they come from. And you know what, Hildy, I'm going to start with you first, if that's okay. So can you tell the audience a bit about yourself, please? And yeah, thank you very, very much for joining us today. We're very, very excited to have you.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, it's great to be here, and I'm also very, very excited. As you know, my name is Hilit, and I work with YouAppi for the last almost 7 years. I've been in the industry for more than 15 years, all in all. Started with massive experience, came from the web, and then working with YouAppi, I came here to develop the solution, the Retargeting DSP, which is the demand side platform mobile apps that we all work here in YouAppi. We focus highly on mobile apps. We focus on the gaming niche specifically. And we have, the DSP is a global company. We have offices in the US, in Japan, in EMEA, in Asia, Korea. And I'm very happy to be here and share more about the iOS solution and more about the strategy and techniques, and I'll drill down as we go.
Hilly, thank you very, very much for that intro. And we are very, very excited to have you here today as well. And I'm sure the audience are going to get a lot of great insights from yourself and from your background too. So look, so grateful for you here with us today. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce Hannah Kachelka, who is our head of sales here at SplitMetrics. Hannah, I'm going to pass it over to your wonderful self to let the audience know who you are and give a little bit of background to yourself. Thank you very much, Hannah, and great to have you here today also.
Yeah, thank you very much, David, for the intro. Such a great intro of SplitMetrics as well. And really looking forward to your presentation, Hilit. Yeah, my name is Hannah. I'm looking after sales at SplitMetrics mainly. I'm responsible for Central European region, Americas, and Asia Pacific. I'm with SplitMetrics, I think, for almost 5 years. It will be soon 5 years. And my main expertise for the last 3 years was a Apple Search Ads platform, SplitMetrics Acquire. So this is the platform for managing, automating, optimizing Apple Search Ads campaigns. But also, in addition to the SplitMetrics Acquire platform for Apple Search Ads, we do have a SplitMetrics Optimize, which is for App Store A/B testing and user behavior analytics in the App Store, and the agency team, which covers different directions: fully managed Apple Search Ads, fully managed Facebook, TikTok ads, ASO optimization. So all of these activities in order to make our clients successful in app stores. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to starting this presentation soon.
Amazing, Hannah. Thank you very much, ladies. Really appreciate it. Audience, listen, let's do this. Let's get some love into the chat here for the ladies. Let's see, are we all ready to rock? So what I want to see in the chat is, let's see some love hearts. Let's see some thumbs up. And we're going to get this webinar going. Okay, so look, listen, thank you very much, ladies. Really, really appreciate it. I'm excited today. I'm going to get lots of insights too from both of you. So without any further ado, I'm going to pass it back over to the wonderful Hannah Kachelka. Hannah, over to you. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you once again. Hello, everybody. Excited to start this webinar by sharing a little bit about the agenda that I have for this presentation. So to give you an idea of what to expect from me today, I've organized this presentation in 3 parts. So first, we'll take a look at the current status of the iOS user acquisition. Feel free to share any thoughts, questions, observations in the chat area. We would like to keep it interactive. I'll be happy to address your questions during this presentation or later at the end of the conversation, or after, if we do not have time for that, after I will be happy to reply in the emails to you as well. Next, I'd like to focus on Apple search ads, and finally, we'll explore a hot topic today, AI-powered solutions that you can consider to add to your tech stack. So let's begin from the first slide. So one of the questions we hear very, very often from mobile marketers is about the best user acquisition channel mix for their iOS apps promotion. I personally like rankings that MMP vendors publish every year and every half of the year. For me, it's a great source of information that user acquisition managers can use when creating a channel mix. So, for example, Singular has released its ROI Index 2023, which shows that Apple Search Ads is now the second biggest ad partner by spend on iOS for Singular customers. Other top performing channels, ad networks include AppLovin, Meta, Google Ads, TikTok, Unity, and Snapchat. While we cannot say for sure what combination would work best for you, for your app, we know for sure that the brands who are diversifying their channel mix really get better results in terms of the installs, get more purchases per user, higher retention rate, and better LTV. At the same time, we hear success stories when marketers try some relatively new channels, although for me, it's already hard to say that, for example, TikTok is a new channel, but they try it and they enjoy lower cost and better results. Also, many app marketers tend to go with industry leaders, of course, like Meta and Google Ads. That's obvious, but this creates, of course, increased competition and obviously leads to higher cost per acquisition. At the same time, for example, if you try something not that classic like Facebook or Meta and Google Ads, such as TikTok, for example, you may enjoy lower costs, at least at this stage, because this channel is beginning to be very, very popular right now. Yeah, and I also have some results from AppsFlyer from the first half of 2022, and there are some great insights to share as well. Firstly, Apple Search Ads has gained a lot of popularity since the first half of 2020. It has tripled its market share, which is an amazing result. For non-gaming apps, as you can see on the slide here, the top 5 media sources based on in-app purchases are Meta, TikTok, Google Ads, Twitter, and Moloko. And for gaming apps, the top 5 media sources are Meta, TikTok, Google Ads, Liftoft, and Unity. I really encourage you to download these reports and see some other useful insights for user acquisition for iOS. Let's go next. So before we dive into the challenges and trends for iOS user acquisition in 2023, let's take a quick poll from our event team. Yeah, guys, please launch this poll once you're ready. Yeah, so please, you now see the question and the options. What challenges are you facing while running iOS UA campaigns? There are different options: choosing the right channel mix, increasing CPA, result measurement, creative optimization, personalization, or other challenges that you're facing. So please take your time to answer it and share your thoughts in the chat area, and we'll be checking the results a little bit later. Cool. So let's go back to this slide. As I mentioned briefly earlier, marketers are now facing different challenges. You've heard about it, post-COVID era, some economic downturn. So all of this affects the marketing performance, marketers' performance, their activities. And of course, everyone is now focusing on ROI and channels profitability. So one way to do it is to utilize your own channels and re-engage existing audiences, such as email marketing, push notifications, and App Store optimization. Why is because acquiring new customer can cost 5 times more than retaining an existing one, and the success rate of selling to a customer you already have is about 60 to 70%, while if you need to acquire a new one, it will be about 5 to 20%, depending on your category, activities, and App Store optimization, all of the rest activities that you have for your app. That's why marketers are increasingly focused on personalization, I would say. They communicate different value propositions to their users, offer different product features to different audience segments. All of this is to improve the conversion rates, because the higher the conversion rate you have, the more efficient your result for marketing campaigns are. So we also see the trends towards using technology and AI solutions. This is, again, as I said before, it's a very, very popular topic right now. And of course, this increases the productivity, the efficiency. It raises some questions from people, because some worry about AI replacing employees. Still, studies have shown that AI-enabled tools can increase labor productivity, of course, and it's a tool that helps instead of replacing people. But of course, in the future, we are going to hear more and more about AI tools and capabilities. And finally, there are challenges connected to measurement. This is a very, very popular topic for, I would say, starting 2020 after the IDFA deprecation, and still people struggle with it because there's less user level data available. There are less tracking opportunities. So getting accurate data for iOS under scan is still a challenge. And there are 2 main reasons to that. One is, to my opinion, is the limited understanding and experience of people who work with it. And the second one is the gap in the data accuracy that the measurement solutions provide. So yeah. So there are a lot of challenges, as you can see, still. But let's take a quick look at the poll results before we move on. I'm interested in seeing what you see as a challenge for you. Yeah, result measurement is a winner here, and I totally agree with you here. I speak a lot with user acquisition managers, and that's a huge challenge for everyone. Yeah, thank you very much for taking part in this vote. Okay, slide next. I would like to talk a little bit about Apple Search Ads, because when it comes to the results management, when it comes to the targeting options, I think Apple Search Ads is a little bit exception here, because it was not affected that much by this IDFA deprecation stuff, and we still are able to optimize campaigns towards target metrics, target our users, and get more or less accurate data for post-install performance of the users from the in-app events perspective. It currently allows to get measurable results and optimize campaigns towards goals and revenue metrics. Plus, again, it allows to reach the high intent audience. On this screen, you can see some of the research results that Apple has conducted. They've shown some impressive numbers. On average, you see that more than 600 million users visit the App Store every week. 70% of them use search to find their next app. and the conversion rate is still high, which was a surprise because Apple Search Ads exists for, I think, since 2016, if I'm not mistaken, or 2015. So the conversion rate is still very high for Apple Search Ads, and the conversion rate for search result ads is also very, very high. And by the way, speaking about the conversion rates, our internal research that we made at SplitMetrics, let me switch to the next screen, confirms this data because we regularly release the Apple Search Ads benchmark reports, and our internal benchmark confirmed that Apple Search Ads has a very high conversion. You see, even a little bit higher than Apple Search Ads has shown in their research. But for our benchmarks, we have a lot of insights into other metrics related to Apple Search Ads. So I encourage you to go to our website and download this report, because you can check the data for different categories, different storefronts, different markets, and different metrics such as TTR, CPT, cost per acquisition. All of this data is available, so please use it. Again, speaking about metrics, the performance differs really, really considerably depending on the category. For example, according to this report, the average TTR was slightly, almost 10%, I would say, in the second half of 2022. But at the same time, let's say apps within the entertainment category have much higher conversion rate, almost 30%, which is impressive. Sports, almost 20%. This is super high result for the TTR. Yeah, so please download it. Please take a look at the metrics and see how you perform against the benchmarks for Apple Search Ads. Yeah, and I'd also like to highlight the most important updates in the App Store ecosystem and trends we see across the channel. Last fall, Apple added 2 new ad placements to the App Store Today tab and You Might Also Like section. So I want to highlight a little bit about the results we see for these 2 ad placements. You probably know that today's tab is the first content users see when they start their App Store visit. Running ads there is a great opportunity for brands, first of all, to reach new customers, to promote major feature releases, special events, seasonal offers. It's also great for brands to show their creativity, test new approaches to messaging and visuals. So I would say, in the first place, this tab works perfectly well for brands. Companies with strong brand awareness can attain new customers easier and cheaper. The second ad placement is the section under the You Might Also Like. And this is also a good way to attract highly engaged users who are considering which app to download. They are already interested in finding an app that meets their specific needs, but are still in the consideration phase, and they are scrolling down the page and looking at the You Might Also Like section. From the benchmarks we have for a SplitMetrics optimized platform, because we do have insights into user behavior on the product page and how deeply they scroll down the page, I would say the percentage of users who go down the product page until the You Might Also Like section is not very big, but still, I know from the user acquisition manager's experience that many publishers are still using this opportunity to reach to the new audience. Another hot topic these days is custom product pages, and this is all about Apple Search Ads personalization. Custom product pages allow highlight specific features and test value propositions optimize ads for specific markets and audience segments. Also re-engage with customers. Right now, this is really from all of the conversations I have with the user acquisition managers, everyone is asking about the custom product pages. And it's no surprise here because this works very, very well. At SplitMetrics Acquire, we do cover all of the functionality related to custom product pages, full funnel analytics, so you can basically see how your custom product pages perform, not only from the Apple search ads perspective, but also from the revenue perspective. Yeah, and really, really encourage you to use custom product pages to increase the conversion. Cool. Let's go next. Yeah, I wanted to share with you some success stories. The first one is about today's tab that we have here internally at SplitMetrics. During our work with customers, we found that today tab, again, as I mentioned, really helps boosting branded traffic. You may already know that it takes around 8 touches for a user to convert, and our observation have shown that branded search traffic increases significantly the day after the Today tab spike. This means that users remember the brand name after seeing the Today's tab and return to the App Store to search for the app. We also discovered a strong correlation between Today tab ads and users' willingness to tap into the ads in search results. After launching Today tab ads, our clients have reported an increase in paid traffic from search results ads, even when their bids and budgets remain the same. So again, one more benefit from Today tab, and encourage you to try it. I'd say for a smaller brands or some apps, it can be a little bit expensive, but again, please first test it, try it, because it always can show very, very good results for you. Perfect. And what else? Another case that I wanted to show you is about custom product pages and personalization. As I've mentioned before, we have the agency, SplitMetrics agency team, who runs campaigns for our clients on our side. And also we do the App Store optimization for apps. And so this is the example of the app named Violin Lessons by Tnestra. They reached out to us with a request to improve their product page conversion rates, increase user engagement, scale, of course. And so basically they had a very well composed product page. It illustrated options for learning to play the violin, but the app has one more important feature, Violin Tuner, which helps users to tune their violin easily during the first lessons. And so we decided to include that to custom product pages. We prepared hypothesis first, then designed, then developed and launched custom product page with this feature. And the results were really amazing. The TTR almost doubled after we launched custom product page. And we also noticed 2 times increase in installs and almost 4 times increase in the number of purchases, which is really, really great result. And this is not the only result we get with the custom product pages. So I really encourage you to try this for your Apple Search Ads campaigns. Okay, let me check how much time I still have, maybe a couple of minutes. Yeah, let's go next. This is the end of my presentation, but last time I had a webinar, I got so many questions about the AI tools that the user acquisition managers might be interested in. So I decided to add this slide to the presentation today. In our work with UA managers, we've noticed that they use a wide range of tools, which can generally be grouped in different categories based on their purpose. These categories include improving targeting, writing and publishing ad copies, creating visual assets, automating campaigns management and optimization workflows, automated reporting, getting some market insights. And here are some great results, great examples of these tools. Again, I personally tried ChatGPT, and to be honest, I use it very, very, very frequently. It saves so much time for me. Midjourney, which is amazing, and of course, SplitMetrics Acquire, because at SplitMetrics Acquire, we do have AI automation, AI-based automation. So basically, it allows to save tons of time when optimizing your the campaigns, when making bid management. So the system does it automatically based on your historic performance, on your competitors' performance, in order for you to hit the target value that you have for your campaigns. And of course, please drop in the chat the solutions that you've tried. I mean, the AI solutions, maybe you also have some great examples that we can use for our day-to-day work. Cool. And well, speaking about SplitMetrics Acquire, yes, it's I would say it's absolutely a must if you're running or consider running Apple Search Ads campaigns. The system, the basic idea of the system is that we combine both sources, Apple Search Ads and the MMP data. So basically, you can optimize your campaigns towards the metrics that bring revenue to you. So optimize your campaigns towards ROAS, towards cost per purchase, let's say, which is the main goal usually for user acquisition managers. On top of that, you can set up the automation rules that will do it automatically for you. Again, save tons of your time. Instead of you changing everything out manually on the Apple Search Ads side, you can just set up automation and the system will do it for you. Another great thing that is available on SplitMetrics Acquire is the keyword discovery tool, which gives a lot of information about the keywords that you can use, the keywords that your competitors are using. So please try it, use it for your campaigns, find new opportunity for scaling. One more thing is change history. Again, as I mentioned, the AI-based automation, the functionality for custom product pages, and also the support that we provide for custom product pages, the support with hypothesis preparation, with the design. All of this is covered by the SplitMetrics Acquire and agency teams. So drop me a line if you have questions about SplitMetrics Acquire and Apple Search Ads in general. Happy to help you here. Yeah, I think that's all from my side, and thank you very much. Hope you found this information useful. And now I would like to pass the mic to Hilit. She'll be sharing some insightful information about iOS retargeting in the privacy first era. Yeah, so Hilit, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Hey, so first of all, thank you, Hannah. Thank you very much. It was super interesting. So I think I will actually complete the picture for, I would say, if we talked a little bit up until now about user acquisition, then I would complete the other side and talk a little bit about retargeting, reactivation, remarketing. So that's like a lot of buzzwords, but all have to do at the end of the day with how to scale and increase return of ad spend and ROI and retention metrics. As I mentioned before, YouAppi is a DSP, and we focus, I would say solely we focus on in-app retargeting, reactivation. A lot of our activity is for gaming partners, but not necessarily. We also work a lot with education, B2C. And some of the information that I wanted to share with you today actually have to do with the techniques and a little bit about I'll show you a little bit and talk about the agenda first before getting into everything that we do and the solution that we propose. And I hope that you will find value. So what do we want to talk about? We're going to focus on iOS and of course, everything that happened post iOS, although we do have Android activity as well. But today I specifically want to talk about how do we do reactivation for iOS. We're going to focus on what is the solutions for reactivation, how do the consent buckets look like, what is ATT prompt, and how does it actually help us to reactivate. A little bit to split the different solutions. So we're going to talk briefly about every solution that we have for iOS. We are going to touch 3 main solutions, which are connected in a way, but I will divide them just to do some order. I'm going to show you a few examples and to talk about how are we going to evaluate all the beautiful solutions that I just mentioned. So first thing first, super important and most important is what are the solutions and how do we actually scale iOS retargeting with our DSP. So how do you achieve higher scale for iOS? We're going to talk about 3 different examples. One, of course, has to do with dual consent. Dual consent wherever we have a consent from the user from the first party data, from the developer on one side and also from the supply side. The second solution will be focusing on only demand side consent. So in case that we don't have the consent from the supply side. And the third one is actually a combination that fills the rest of the users, the reach of the users that do not fall in bucket number 1, which is dual consent, and bucket number 2 for demand side consent. And this is for scenarios that we don't have consent for both sides. So this is the fully probabilistic solution. I want to now raise a question for the event team, and if they can pop up the first poll question. And to ask you all, would be great to hear a little bit from your side. Are you planning to invest in paid retargeting to increase retention this year? Would be great to hear a little bit about your strategy. If there is going to be a focus on Android, on iOS. If on iOS, are you also running both retargeting on both OS? And if you're not doing any retargeting at all. Later on, of course, we're going to touch and to see how you guys, what are your thoughts about it? So if you are planning to do retargeting and reactivation for iOS, I want to touch and to start from the basics and to understand what are the types of signals, what are the types of data that one actually needs in order to define if you're going to go on bucket number 1, so segmentation of users that you actually have their consent for both supply and demand, or if you don't have at all the consent for the users, and then you need to go and work with the probabilistic data. So let's just give a few examples for each. Deterministic data is actually any type of personal data. Information, of course, freely given from the user, IDFA being, of course, one and the foremost important signal. If it's a name, an email, a phone number, age, so any type of personal information that is actually given by the user. Probabilistic data is actually any type of contextual or behavioral data. It can be where can we find the user, where to find them, when to find them, how do they behave in any other apps, do they have a specific device type, device vendor, a specific version, zip codes, etc. So these are the 2 types of signals that we are talking about, and we'll get into in just a second and show a little bit how do we use the different signals for every audience segmentation. If you can pull the pool is closed. So let's see, how can we pull it? Okay. So we have here, of course, great to see 36% are looking to start on iOS retargeting campaigns. So that's definitely very, very, very important. And definitely I can tell you, and this is something that, of course, I'll touch later on, but if I can share just a little bit from our experience, then today, post 1 year from when we actually started 1.5 years, actually, from when we started iOS 14.5, I can tell you that these days, probably 50–60% of the activity is being ran back on iOS. So as you can understand, there's definitely a lot to do on iOS, and I'll explain a little bit how do we do it and what's the potential. So how do we actually go about ATT prompt, and how can we actually target dual consent? First thing and most important is to ask the first question: do you have an ATT prompt in your app set up? So in order to actually start running reactivation for iOS, you need to first ask yourself if you have a prompt. By the way, I'll show an example of the prompt. The prompt can be customized, and you can actually decide exactly how and what would be the language and the customize and the message that you would like your user to actually see. But first and most important is to actually know that in order to run the first segment, which is a user that gave consent and wanted to get iOS personalized ads, you need to have an ATT prompt. I want to move forward and ask and show you, this is the first and most basic ATT prompt that you have. And I want to mention one important thing. I think the perception is that ATT prompt and the type of messaging is going to actually, that was the impression that we were, everyone was so afraid of. But at the beginning, whenever we said, okay, if there's going to be a message and that's going to interfere and that's going to make the users actually go back and sign that they don't want any ads. In reality, that's not the reality. And why? I think that what users understand today is that as it is, ads are going to keep showing. We are going to keep receiving ads. Now, the question is, are these ads going to be personalized? Are these ads going to be relevant to what I'm interested in, what I'm looking for? Is it going to talk with the contextual and behavioral of my usage as a user? And I think that moving on, the users actually understood that whenever they would like to get personalized ads and relevant ads, they are actually allowing and of course happy to give their information and use it effectively and wisely, of course. This is just an example of one of the ATT prompts, asking the user to track your activity across other companies. By allowing, you're actually giving your consent. So first bucket, I talked about 3 different buckets. First bucket of iOS and how are we actually scaling the reach. First one is dual consent. As I mentioned, basic one, meaning that we have an ATT prompt within our app. A user gave a consent. We're talking about in percentages today, a range of in the US, but even higher in some of the geos outside, some of the regions. I can say that in US today, we're talking about 35%-ish of actually dual consent. It can go from 25, 30, 35, but definitely if you have an ATT in place and you align your users, you can reach these percentages. And these users are actually allowing consent, receiving, giving their IDFA, demand, selecting to actually give their information and be able to receive any type of personalized ads. In terms of demand side consent and what is the difference? So as I mentioned before, first bucket are users that actually gave their consent, and we also are able to retarget these users and match them one-on-one only with deterministic data. For the second bucket, which is only demand side consent, are actually users that gave their consent from the demand. What is demand? It's first-party data. It's the developer that we're actually working with and would like to reactivate the user for his iOS. The problem is that a lot of the users gave consent to the developer itself. However, these users did not give their consent for the apps that are out there where we actually reactivate them. In that case, we want to make sure that can reach statistically, that can reach ranges of sometimes 10, 15%. We want to make sure that we cover both audience segmentation, users that gave, of course, demand, gave their consent on the demand, and also gave their consent on supply or not. So those two can cover even sometimes up to 40%, 50% of your iOS user base. How do you actually, how would be the flow? So how are we actually operationally, how does that happen in the system? So first thing first, you need to narrow and match the users. You need to work with every deterministic data that you have. As we mentioned before, it's personal information that the user actually approved for us to use. Once we narrow and we match the users, we have, of course, the postbacks, which are live signals that our platform can actually receive in real time. They can slice and dice the data, learn, adjust, recommend, and this is the data that is going to be related and work together. So we have deterministic in stage 1. In stage 2, we have the live postbacks data. And in stage 3, we're going to see every contextual and behavioral data that we can actually collect as part of the learning. We're going to create groups of users that are going to be built of all of the different data signals that I mentioned. And stage 4, if you have a deep link, which is actually a page within the app, can even be a home page, doesn't need to necessarily be a page within the app, but if you do have a deep link and you work with the attribution partner, whenever you fully go through stage 1, 2, and 3, at the end, wherever there is a click using a deep link, you can actually close the loop, and by this, you can actually use the deterministic, the behavioral, and the contextual signals to complete the loop and get a signal that you actually reactivated a user, whether it has a consent on the supply side or not, but necessarily has given a consent for the publisher itself on the demand side. How does that look like? So operationally in the system, you can see a screenshot here. This is directly from the platform. So in our platform, you can actually see in the dashboard, which is fully transparent. The partner can actually create the segment himself, or he can use an extension from the team in YouAppi. And here you can see an example of how are the segments created. So this is just one example of the demand side platform and how do you drill down. You can see here that you have iOS sessions specifically that are active for a specific amount of time. And the most important here is just to notice that you have the option to actually drill down and open segmentation and target according to a lot of very, very important engaged signals. All the signals are getting and are being received through the postbacks, through the attribution partner, amounts paid, payment paid, amount of payments, Facebook login, what was purchased, how much was purchased, etc. And as I mentioned, most important is that the device ID will be known. Third bucket is everything that has to do with the fully probabilistic solution. Fully probabilistic solution is in case, of course, where we don't have consent from the user from various reasons. Can be that there wasn't an ATT prompt, can be that there was an ATT prompt, but we don't have enough users within the segmentation that actually gave their consent, or maybe they didn't give consent on supply as well. So the fully probabilistic are in cases that we don't have consent neither from demand or from supply. How do we actually do that? With fully probabilistic, wherever, as I mentioned also in the first segment, so we have the YouAppi platform that identified users from contextual and behavioral signals from the groups I mentioned before. So this group relies on the first group and on the second group. And once we have enough learning on these groups, we can actually build additional groups. And we're also using, of course, data signals, probabilistic signals, as we talked before, and including a deep link, which is, of course, giving from the attribution partner. Whenever we have all these three, we can actually close the loop and finalize and reactivate an iOS 14.5 user, although the users are only reactivated according to probabilistic without any personal information. And by this, you can actually scale your reach and achieve even 50 and 60% out of users in iOS. What's the difference from this segment to the one that I showed before? Before, we saw that the device IDs were known, meaning that we have the signals of the IDFA, meaning that we can use the first solution and second solution only when we have the IDFA, the device known. In the third bucket, which I'm now talking about, fully probabilistic, these are cases where we don't have the device ID and we can only use the probabilistic solution. By the way, if you recall, if you remember, we had around, I say, 12 or 15K amount of users that we have in the example before that their device ID was known. Just to understand a little bit in terms of the statistics and the opportunity, here, this is almost 80,000 users that don't have their device ID known. However, we can actually reach these users using the probabilistic solution. Here you can see both of them, 15.2 that gave their consent under demand, and almost 80K that did not give their consent. By this, you can really understand the potential and the whole idea and what we're actually trying to achieve. At the end of the day, you can see here examples of a bid funnel. A bid funnel shows you how you can actually take the users, the total count of users in the segments that I'm just showing here. And out of these users, how can I actually reactivate the users and move them down the flow from eligible unique users to match and reach these users and bring them at the end of the day to reactivate and close the loop. Just to have like an example of how this can actually result in numbers, you can see here an amazing example of a partner. This is the same partner. You can see here the estimated match users from the fully probabilistic segment. You can see here it's the same numbers that we had, and you can see what happened from the day that we actually, this is a very recent example, and what happened from the moment that we actually added the unknown, the fully probabilistic segment, how many users, you can see by the red, by the red trend line, you can see what happens to the daily targeted users and how is it actually trending up, how many users, the blue, are getting into the segment, how many users are actually adding up every day from the moment that we actually added the fully probabilistic to the dual consent and full consent from the users under demand. Last but not least, I just want to show a little bit, I think the most important, I'll just take advantage of the last minute I think that I have. How do we actually evaluate all this beautiful and amazing information that I just gave you? Nothing is actually worth it if you can't evaluate every dollar that you spent. Where are you going to put it? You want to make sure that you have tools to evaluate how many users and what is the ROI, ROAS attribution that every segment that I just gave you. It's very important to be sure that you can actually evaluate every dollar. So for that, there are incrementality tools, and this is another tool that we have in place. And this tool actually gives you an ability to evaluate and know what is the return of ad spend from every bucket and segment that I just described. This is something that it gets along and goes live in parallel to every campaign. And it's an analysis that the platform is giving our developers and our publishers for every campaign that we have live. Last but not least, question number 3, and with that I think I'll finish. What does an incrementality report show and how you can actually utilize it, what you can learn from a retarget, from an incrementality report. So here you have a bunch of talking about lift analysis, about ROAS, percentages of conversions. Would be great to hear your thoughts and how would you utilize an incrementality tool if you would have one, of course, in your campaigns. with that, I think I'll finish and I'll hand it over. I think 20 minutes. So thank you so much. It was very interesting for me and would like to hear any feedbacks and questions.
Ladies, thank you very, very, very much. It was very, very insightful, very informative. I see there's a lot of questions in the chat as well, and we'll try to get back to all them questions, audience, as soon as possible. But before we do, we've got a couple of minutes left. Okay, we've got around 5 minutes left. We're going to go into some questions, but can I just get a round of applause for the two wonderful ladies here for their presentations? It was great. So let's see in the chat. Yeah, the chat is lighting up, ladies, lighting up. What a way to finish our tour, see. Okay, so look, we've got a couple of questions. We've got 5 minutes left, so maybe what we can do is, okay, I've got 4 or 5 questions here. I'm going to do one each to yourself, Hannah, and to yourself, Halit. Okay, so first question: can you share any success stories on running Apple search ads for pre-order apps? This question is going to Hannah.
Me, yes, I think. Yeah, definitely there are success stories. I wouldn't say that this is a frequent case. No, we do not face with this often. But in my experience, our agency team has run pre-order campaigns for a number of times. So basically, just to share a little bit, the pre-order campaigns allow to launch Apple search ads before the app is live. And so the idea is to actually collect pre-orders and then boost downloads volume within the release day. Why is it good? Is because this boost in the first day when your app is live, it can help to increase keyword rank and reach high positions for competitive keywords right away from the very, very beginning, because usually it takes a little bit of time to gain traction for Apple search ads after you launch the campaigns. So yes, this is confirmed by our experiments for pre-order campaigns, and our clients, at least in my head, I have one case for photo video category. They've launched pre-order campaign and they've got a huge boost in downloads in the first day of the app launch. So this is a successful story, and I can confirm that it works.
Great, Hannah, thank you very much for that detailed answer. Really, really, really appreciate it. Next question: my company has several games and we try to bring users back into our games through our other titles. Does retargeting interfere with my cross promotion? Halit, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, for sure. So not at all. Cross promotion is, as I think I started the presentation, I mentioned that you have UA, you have retargeting, and you have cross promotion. Cross promotion is relevant for, of course, partners, developers that have a portfolio. And a lot of what we actually do is we use cross promotion as one of our strategies to actually make sure that we not only utilize the solutions for that specific title, but we also utilize and try to shift the learning to, of course, other titles for the same portfolio. So definitely, I advise to do cross promotion. And cross promotion is even, I would say, it's far more evaluated as user acquisition. Usually works on users that churned more than 30 days, usually. So a lot of the strategies have to do with user acquisition more than even retargeting, but definitely it completes the picture and is very, very important to have that strategy in place.
Excellent. Great. Thank you very much for the insights. Much appreciate. The obviously chat is lighting up here too as well. Okay, ladies and gents, we've got 2 minutes left. So what we are going to do is we're going to test your knowledge and we're going to do our last poll. Okay, so we're going to give you a couple of seconds to get this to get your answers in. Okay, but Ananio, please, I want to give a big thank you to our wonderful ladies, for this educational webinar. As you can see from the chat, we put in the information where to find you, ladies. If there's anything else you would like to say or add to the audience, where to find you, Hannah, is LinkedIn the best place to get you? Halit, how about yourself? LinkedIn also?
Absolutely.
WhatsApp, LinkedIn, email, Slack, anywhere
Telegram, anywhere. Excellent.
Anywhere.
Okay. Excellent. Well, look, listen.
24/7.
It's been a pleasure having you both here today. It's been a great webinar, great success. Our audience have loved it. Lots of love hearts in the chat. So look, ladies, again, thank you very much. Very grateful for you and your expertise. And if we just get the results of the poll, please, before we go. Who is the winner chicken dinner? Let's go. Well, here we go. How do you like today's? Okay, yeah, well. Very inspiring and useful, ladies. Very inspiring and useful. So look, listen, everybody, happy Thursday. Have a great weekend ahead. You know, be good, be merry. And yeah, thank you very much for your participation. Have a great one. Take care, everybody. Happy Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.